I love JRPGs. Now that I've lost half my audience, it's time to talk to the remaining 7 of you about a game I've most recently finished, and despite its flaws, found to be a rather impressive experience. Tales of the Abyss, for the PS2, originally released in Japan at the back end of 2005, and in the States just in time for Christmas '06, tells the tale of a young man called Luke, who, for lack of better words, is a right wee pillock. I mean, the guy is a moody wee bastard who just moans and complains, wants things done his way, is rude for no reason and treats people like dirt. Everyone except for his sword trainer, who is affectionately called Master Van. Anywho, basic plot is as follows. Luke lives in a luxury manor with his family. Several years ago he was kidnapped and lost his memory, so his uncle keeps him locked up in the manor like that cheeky wee pack of fags your mum keeps behind the HP sauce. One day, while sword training with his master, a young girl called Tia breaks into the house and starts fighting with Master Van. An unexplained event then somehow zaps Luke and Tia away to another part of the world. Oh yes, drama. Along the way they meet sarcastic military commanders, money-obsessed preteen girls, bitchy princesses, women-fearing swordsmen, talking squirrels, and jeez, the list goes on. The plot is also intertwined with religion, war, magic and so on. And yes, the game has an explanation for these too. Lengthy explanations. Without going too much into the technical manual, which is the plot, let's talk about the gameplay. Field gameplay is actually pretty well done. Level design is smart and features some nice locales and effects. Only downside is that the fixed camera angles really get in the way of things sometimes and don't give you a real good idea of the perspective. Perspective is quite important here because when you get Mew, you can shoot small fireballs to activate switches and puzzles. Oh yes, Mew is that talking squirrel thing I mentioned. He is largely annoying, but his abilities add some depth to the overall game. Then again, hearing him scream Mew when he shoots fire gets old. It gets old fast. At least we get to hear Luke call him Thing. Battle is where the game excels. The battle system is like a fighting game requiring heavy use of combos, guarding and button mashing. Yeah, it can get old now and again, but if you put the effort into it, it really pays off. You press the X button to swing a sword, but if you hold down a direction, it affects your swing style. That I like. Your special attacks are done with circle. Again, pressing directions changes their style, but you get to learn a lot of different attacks and styles throughout the game. Again, it requires some button mashing, but if you put a tactical brain behind the controls, you can really surprise yourself with what you can do. On to the downsides now, and that starts with the loading times. Now, on the 3DS version the loading times are near instant, but on the old PS2 version I played, loading times are long. Enough said. About 10 seconds on the world map to load a battle, moving between screens and dungeons and towns is lengthy too, and the frame rate drops on the world map. Dire. World map navigation is a mixed bag too. Not only does this part of the game come with a heavy load time, but turning the feckin' camera is like trying to get Susan Boyle to hold off their pies for a couple of weeks. And the enemy respawn rate. Not an issue if you want to grind, but at 10 seconds between battles for loading, best avoided. Another feature I didn't like was the odd use of stuff in the character customization department. You can equip things called CC cores to boost your skills, but they really don't do much. I shifted mine around all the time and I noticed no change at all. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. You can also earn titles throughout the game, which give your characters a little something to put under their nameplate, like Luke, the Duke's son, or Tyr, the sorceress, or Van's brother, or something like that. What does this do for your character development? Nothing. Nothing at all. Voice acting is actually pretty good in this game, with Johnny Young Bosch from Power Rangers doing the voice of Guy, but some of the art characters can be annoying, overacted, underacted, etc. I'm looking at you, Tier. Large portions of the game also come without voice acting too. That's a bit odd, even for a game released at the back end of 2005, that's strange. Overall, what do I think? Well, I personally loved it, warts and all. But veteran gamers who had their fling with JRPGs back in the 90s may want to pass on this one. It's great, but you may get annoyed with how convoluted the plot is. In saying that, it's worth it for the battle system alone. Seriously good fun to be had with this game. If you can look over the flaws and find a good version of the game for the 3DS at a reasonable price, I definitely recommend you pick it up.